we're imagining that we're on dirt or an unstable surface, and we can't lean it. Now, I've leaned my bike on unstable surfaces and dumped it, and I'm sure you have too. So that's what this exercise is going to help you with. It's also going to help you with one of the most common occurrences of an accident, which is turning wide on the right-hand turn. So you take a right-hand turn at an intersection and you go wide on it. What happens is you're in the lane of the oncoming traffic when you do that. And that's where a lot of times you're not looking, first where you go. So there could be a car approaching. You can do a U-turn, or you can do a right-hand turn from a stop with your bars turned and get out of a situation where there's an obstacle in front of you. It's really fun to be able to do that too.
The friction zone, we're fine. But holy shit, turning? I don't like that, Rob. Nothing changes. I want you to treat this like a mushy gravel road, where even a slight lean could put that front wheel out. No leaning here. I want you to treat this like a gravel road, because that's when this skill comes in. Another thing practice gives us is options. Sometimes those options are connected to some sort of emergency. Sometimes it's just simple stuff, like making a turn, making a U-turn. If you feel in any of those circumstances, that's a problem. You need to work on it, right? Straight up and down. That's what we're gonna do. In those circumstances, that's a problem. You need to work on it, right? Straight up and down. That's what we're gonna do. The rules don't change. It's a mushy gravel road. Meaning even if you lean a little, it's gonna put your front wheel out. Straight up. Again, this is what separates, I used to say, the men from the boys. This is what separates Freeloader Nation from everybody else. The rules don't change. Another thing practice gives us is options. Sometimes those options are connected to some sort of emergency. Sometimes it's just simple stuff, like making a turn, making a U-turn. If you feel in any of those circumstances, that's a problem. You need to work on it, right? Straight up and down. That's what we're gonna do.
Easy peasy.
Welcome to Sebastian Practice Sessions. We practice our motorcycle slow speed operation skills weekly here in Sebastian, Florida, using Robert Simmons' Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle 9 exercises, which contain invaluable road skills. Everyone is welcome regardless of skill level or riding experience. We narrate through the exercises so you can get a clear understanding of the intent of each exercise, our individual challenges with each one, and where we are looking to improve. We always have a great time, support each other, and get a little bit better every time we practice. We hope you enjoy this session, and we hope you pick up a useful nugget or two. Thanks for joining us.
So we're at practice session 70, and it's Saturday, February 1st. And I forgot my drink, so Mike is going back to the house to get it for me, thankfully. And I've got some of the cones set up. He's got the rest of the cones, so we'll get those set up when he gets back. And I guess I get to talk a little bit about what we're doing here as far as today goes. Today we're going to practice, hopefully quickly, and get ourselves done with all of our drills before we need to leave, and we're going to go meet some friends, the Stilettos, for a ride down to Fort Pierce. And Mike's brother Scott is going to meet us and come down with us. And then from there, Fort Pierce, we're going to ride down to West Palm Beach with more Stiletto friends, because we're going to do the Crime Stoppers ride with all the, it's like a chauffeured ride. I don't know what you call it. It's one of those rides where all the police block off all the entrances so that it's just the motorcycles. We did that one last year. It was a lot of fun. It's an escorted ride, that's what it is. So we have an escorted ride through Palm Beach. It's really kind of cool to do. And then after that, you come back and there's like a band typically, and lots of concession stands and things like that. So that should be a fun day, all day tomorrow. And then we'll be heading back up here tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow early evening. So it should be fun. We'll have a great time. And we're going to get started on our practice session. We'll see who comes today.
Circumstances, that's a problem you need to work on, right? Straight up and down, that's what we're going to do. The rules don't change.
We're on exercise 1, the smooth starts and smooth stops. We have a new person who's here. He actually lives right here in Sebastian, or Vero. And we have Mike as well. Not sure if Rich is back from the Keys, but we're going to get started and see how Steph does. He is familiar with Robert's channel, he watches it, so he just said he's never practiced it before, and this is his first Harley.
Cool. Run him through the steps or anything at all?
I said, you're familiar with the first 5 steps? He's like, yep. But again, he didn't say he practiced them. Right. So my guess is it will be new.
Okay, so what we're doing on this one is simply starting and stopping. It's called smooth stops and starts. So you've seen the videos. So we're just working on the 5 steps, nice, easy, right? So
no front brake.
So we want to cover the rear brake. That's step 2, right? So we're just covering, right? It's a little bit different. It's kind of hard to get used to, but that allows us a little speed control. And we're not, we're trying to stay off of this front brake. So nice and easy. There you go, good, good. For never using the rear brake, that's great. Okay. I'll work with, as soon as we stop, I'll give him some feedback. Okay, all right. So now here, nice stop. Okay, so a little bit of things to tweak and work on. A lot of times, perfectly normal, people will they'll open their clutch a little too much speed, right? So what we want to do is just imagine like the number 1 is where the clutch first starts to grab. So what you're doing is you're a little bit past 1 to get you moving. Then you're coming back off that clutch lever just a little bit to slow you down. Like you want to be going slow. We don't want speed to carry us. We want to start getting used to, right, going slow. But that was really good for never using that rear brake. Just now as we come back around, focus on that rear brake business, all right? Nice job. Let's go, Mike.
Okay.
So if you're watching and you're seeing this, I'm overemphasizing that you're seeing the RPM stay up until I stop, and then they come down when I let that clutch in a little bit. So we're not coasting to the stop, we're keeping it loaded, friction braking right up until the stop. And you can see that the bike just stays there. And then I put my foot down and it's nice and everything's nice and smooth.
So keep those RPMs high. Yeah. So let me just say, 1 second. So what happens, you don't have to turn it off. Can you hear me okay? So what happens is you're associating speed with the throttle. And everybody who comes here does that. So you want to go slower, you take the throttle off rather than pull the clutch in. It's the opposite. You want to pull the clutch in so it doesn't give power. But you want to keep that power high because that's what's keeping the bike upright. All right? So really rev it. And leave it there. Leave it there. Higher. Higher. There you go. Now go. Yeah. So it's just too much clutch. Less clutch, more throttle. Still low. See here that putt, putt, putt? That's too low. You want it so your horn is not shaking. So keep it high. There you go. Now less clutch. High, keep it up there. Keep it up there. Throttle. There you go. Leave it there. Yeah. So it's just finding finding that it's out too far. Just keep it in. The bike will stand up. Higher. There you go. Yep. Yes. Yes. Much better. Much better. One more. That's it. So try when you come back this way just to do the slow ride, but keep that throttle high and the clutch in. Exercise 2 is the slow ride. We're not going to cover the rear brake on this one, just working with the clutch. And then come to a smooth stop.
Beautiful. Nice. Kind of, yeah, slow ride, yeah, slow race, right. So again, so I know I'm going to confuse the hell out of you now because now this is the only one where we want to stay off that rear brake.
What's that?
And now we're just working with clutch, like in, out, because we want to kind of go slow. Okay, so you got to give it a little bit to get it going, and then we're pulling off that clutch a little bit.
Cover the rear brake. Oh, no cover the rear brake.
Nice, nice. So we want to see those handlebars moving, that's good. All right, he's pulling the clutch in a little bit. Maybe going a little too fast, but pull that clutch in a little bit. There you go, yes, good. Now smooth stop, smooth stop. Now I confused you because at the smooth stop, you can use that rear brake, so that's my fault. But you did good because you got a little too much speed and you pulled that clutch in a little bit. I could hear the RPMs go up. That's what you want to see is those handlebars needing to correct. So that was really good. Look at how smooth, beautiful. It's really, really slow, and he's not having to correct much with his handlebars. Usually when you see somebody not needing to correct much with their handlebars, you'd say they're going too fast, but man, Mike's going really slow. Smooth stop. I forgot, that's okay. He's going with the slow ride. Shit head looking clean and beautiful. Nice.
So yeah, Mike doing the slow ride. Now we're just going to do the slow ride all the way to the end and then a smooth stop with the rear brake. There you go. Less clutch. There you go. Yup. Less clutch. That's it. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now smooth stop. Good, good. Very good. It's nerve-wracking at first. It's hard, but you'll get it after you practice that a while. That was perfect.
He just flicked it.
Exercise 3 is trust and believe. So first gear, cover the rear brake, bring the throttle up. Keep it there. Find your clutch position.
Foot up. Nice. Good. Look good. That's how you do it. Oh boy. It's all right, don't worry about the cone. It's all right, I got it, I got it. Good. So one of the things it's really good that you know you've seen the videos. So why that happens is you don't have enough RPMs, right? So that's the preload and keep it loaded, right? So this is number 3, you've seen it in the videos. So we go through the steps, we make sure it's in first gear, we cover the rear brake, we bring those RPMs to like 1800, 2000, you know, 18, you got to tack, right? Yeah. Then you let your clutch out just so where you feel the bite, like you can feel it biting, and then you come back a little bit so it's not pulling. Then we go foot up, then you pull your foot up, then you go. Are you comfortable doing that, giving that a try? Okay. So go through the steps, RPMs up, 1800 to 2000. Find that clutch friction point. Okay, all right, no, it's good practice.
Keep the throttle high.
Okay, try. All right, okay. So what he needs to do, what Stenith isn't getting yet, that I didn't do a good job of explaining, is he wants to get that. Ready? Foot up. A little early. So Stenith needs to get into the grab point, the friction point. Foot up. Yeah, this is good. This is good.
First gear, cover the rear brake, throttle up, find your friction point, foot up. Beautiful. Classic Fred.
Friction zone, we're fine. But holy shit, turning? I don't like that, Rob. Nothing changes.
So let's just have a look. I just want to explain real quick and then you can try it if you want to. All this is voluntary, right? So what we're doing here is imagine the slow ride, just like we did, same slow ride. But we want to have a little pressure on the rear brake. So everything's the same. Throttle is up. Here's the thing. If you don't have the throttle up, you have a tendency for it to tip over, which is fine. We'll help you pick it up. Like you got crash parts, don't worry about it, right? The problem with people is they let their throttle off and they grab the brake or something when they're halfway through the turn. So let's get closer. Thing that people miss as well is coming this way. So we're going to watch Rich's rear brake. So he's got a little drag on that rear brake, right? clutch is in the friction zone. It's got good RPMs. Turn those wheels, the bike stands up, right? If you don't have that little rear brake pressure, you get going too fast. You can still do the turn, but then you gotta lean. We're trying to make this straight up. You've seen the videos, right? So you see Lori's body, she's a little bit counter sitting, so you can do that as well. But these three have done this a million times, so it looks easy, but when you try it, don't worry about it. When you try it, it's gonna be a little wobbly. Now, if it gets weird and you don't feel good, remember that trust and believe where you let the clutch out? Like it gets weird right there, open the clutch, go straight out. Don't pull the clutch and, hope for the best. So if it gets weird, like you don't feel comfortable, let the clutch out, go straight. Okay. If you want to try it, it's totally up to you, but I'll be right here helping. Tough when you have a new person here, brand new, and they've tried. I mean, at least Den knows he's watched the videos of Robert, so he knows the general what it looks like. But to do the slow ride or slow start to stop once, I really feel like people should get more practice at 1 and 2 before you get to 4. But we're gonna try it. So now. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Power up, power. Clutch out, there you go, clutch out, good job. It got weird, and he let the clutch out. That was great. Nice and smooth, good job. There you go, rear brake, nice. That's a good takeoff. I need to slow down a little bit. Power. Okay. I dig it, man.
I think he's in idle on the way in because he's like really wobbly.
No, he's got good power until the turn starts and then he lets off. I'm gonna talk to him about it. I think that's great. Here's what's happening. You hear Robert say, preload it and keep it loaded. Go. What's happening is go ahead, Mike, go past us. Is you're preloading and then you're not keeping it loaded. Because as soon as you start the turn, you lose all your RPMs. When you lose your RPMs, the bike feels like it's gonna fall. So there is a little bit of like twisting it, right, when you get to that corner, but I think it looks great. The best thing you're doing is you're letting the clutch out and going straight instead of pulling the clutch and, cowering like you're letting it out. So that's great. Good. Okay, now no power. Right, same thing. Wheel is here. I'll tell you what we're continue to see for folks watching this is how important it is. That's why Robert is so on preload and keep it loaded, because if the video is able to pick up Sten's RPMs as he loses it right at the turn. Just quickly. One thing, you don't need to turn it off. One thing to keep in mind is don't be afraid of the RPMs, because the clutch controls all of that. Like, it's not going to go crazy if you have that clutch at the right point. Does that make sense? But again, last time, I don't know if you heard it because you're probably nervous. As soon as you start that turn, all of the RPMs come out. Yep, all right. You bet, you got it. Doing good. Nice. That was great.
I didn't hit it that time.
Nope, it was clean. Rear brake. Son's got to get in the habit of the rear brake. So cover that rear brake. Cover the brake. Cover the rear brake. No, he's off the rear. He's not even thinking about the rear brake.
Yeah.
So we're using a friction brake all the way up here, right? We're not just wheeling up. So we're nice and slow. Everything's slow. See, right at the end, I got off a little bit, but that's really the practice, is when you get into the turn, how are we correcting, right? How do we correct it? So again, I'm coming up faster. Now I'm slowing way down. We're gonna go brakeless here. So too slow and you get too much correction. Clutch out, clutch out. Hey!
Yeah, it's a clutch control.
Did he lose his throttle again? Yeah.
Well, it's more, he doesn't have the clutch control. That's
Right.
all.
All right, so try brakeless again. Last one was a little sloppy.
So smooth.
See, now he's got to pull that clutch in a little bit.
Better, better, better. Okay. I think once they finally feel it pull, and they feel that friction point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where 1 and 2, right? Where you can just get used to that friction point.
Slow, 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 slow. Better.
Yeah, he's getting it. You know, just 100 more reps, right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll start doing right turns.
I'm going to say hi to Russell after this.
Look, eyes, head and eyes. Look. Yeah. So you're trying to lean around the corner. You got to keep yourself straight up. Don't worry about it. We'll get it up. You know, pull you. You want to feel the friction. Yeah. Being in the friction doesn't mean just like not all the way out, but you should feel the bike pulling you. Yeah. Okay? So you take a right-hand turn at an intersection and you go wide on it. What happens is you're in the lane of the oncoming traffic when you do that. And that's where a lot of times you're not looking, first of all, first where you go, so there could be a car approaching.
All right, exercise 4, what we call 4B, the right turns. With so much talking and coaching, there really was no need for any voiceover. So that saves a little time in the voiceover editing. But here we are on the right-hand turns. And you know, we got a nice little setup here. We're using a little more focus on real-world moves. I hope that's helpful for the watcher, the viewer, to understand why we're doing what we're doing. So we do have Steneth here, and he's in the learning. So it's a little bit more talking, coaching. I think that could be helpful to a new person, new to riding, or looking to learn a little more of the details and specifics. So I'm leaving that stuff in and decided to use that over the voiceover. Anyway, here we are. Right turns, we saw the scene of the real world move of me taking a right turn on a dump truck, taking a right turn, making sure that we get that inside the lane. So oftentimes when I practice now, I have that scene in mind of that dump truck barreling toward me, and you got to really make sure you get inside that lane. Here is the time to be running over the cones and going across and working out the muscle memory on how to make sure that we get that turn properly executed. So we see, again, what we see is, ooh, see, he always gets me right when I was just going to say how good Rich is. He puts his foot down. But doesn't matter how many times we all do it, we still have a flub every once in a while. They all can't be perfect. But here's Lori starting into the lane a little bit, and that's an excellent practice because you got to really start with your handlebars turned. It's learning that what difference it takes for the clutch friction zone to get power moving, get the motorcycle moving with the front tire turned. Stennis started this with a stop, which I wouldn't advise a newer rider to do. At some point, I think I told him you don't need to do the stop.
You don't need him hitting the car.
I got that.
Here's Mike on his BMW, getting into it a little earlier, which is great to see, getting those handlebars turned.
It's up to you, but I wouldn't stop.
As soon as you get clear, as you get a sense for, that's what we're always trying to learn is we have to understand a sense for where our bike is. If we have bags, where our bags are. If we don't, we still need to know where the tail end of our bike is. As soon as we get that cone cleared, we want to make sure that we are moving those handlebars in the direction we want to go fairly quickly. Oftentimes we wait too long and we get too far across. Stennis just getting the hang of it.
I got it.
Still needs to learn the not coasting, right? He's using the momentum a little bit too much. That's just a habit. That's just a habit that he's got to work through.
That's better.
Nice smooth stop, head and eyes to the right. Clutch friction point, RPM's nice and strong. Beautiful right turn. Sorry, our angle, our picture's a little bit angled on this one. Not sure what happened there, but Lori's going brakeless, and that takes a little bit. Often we go wide when we're brakeless because we don't have the brake to slow us down. Stennis rocking it way too fast, but again, hey man, he's making the turn, right? I mean that's new, just for a new rider, new to practicing this. Just to make that turn is great. Like you take the small wins. Okay, Mike got a little lean there. And that'll happen. If you don't have the right clutch friction point, if you don't have that right power to the rear wheel, it's going to lean forward a little bit, like it's going to angle down a little bit. So you got to stay with it and give it the juice.
Slow turn, right?
Did I hit it?
I think Lori's still working on brakeless.
We're abusing our cones today.
Yep, we are all over the cones
All right.
today.
What are you there for?
Mike looking good, getting his reps.
Power.
See, Stennis a little too fast, and he lets that power out.
A little bit of a
But
lead,
that was really good, man. That was
Okay.
for first time guy. I'll take it.
Clear.
Beautiful, nice, smooth right turn.
Oh, she's warming up. Yeah,
Friction
that's
zone,
everyone gets
friction
better,
zone.
Right? That's the point of practice. Yep. That's why number 2
Nice.
with the slow ride is so important. So you can get used to it.
Really good. It's just,
With that clutch,
I
right?
can't stress enough, that clutch is just, the clutch hand and that clutch lever is
That'll come when you get used to a little
just
more
in the
power
spot you need it.
and just a tiny little bit more rear brake pressure.
Exercise 5, the single serpentine. Look at Lori. That's how you do it. Picture's worth 1,000 words. We're leaning, we're dipping the bike, we're looking to rock that thing underneath us. We do want to introduce lean. First of the 9 exercises where we're introducing lean here.
All right.
So Stennis is steering, and that's okay. He's new and he's working on it. He's not real comfortable with the lean yet, but He's making it through. We have the cones set 15 feet apart here because Zenith is new, and it's fine. It gives us an opportunity to start wider and stay wider and get a little bit more aggressive in the turns going through the cones.
Yeah.
So our head and eyes are forward, and we're just working that bike left and right. We're transitioning our handlebars,
Zenith
right?
is okay here. I mean,
So
he's not
look
great,
at how Stenith is doing it. Just
Yeah, all right.
he's doing great. He's a new guy, so he's straight up. He's trying to turn those handlebars. He does not have this clutch friction point where it needs to be, right? Because he's not used to being about hanging in there in like the number one friction point, right as the clutch grabs. Most people aren't used to that, right? They're used to just the clutch is either all the way in or all the way out, and then we're dealing with it, however we deal with it. It's a different kind of way of operating at slow speed.
That bike actually needs that
But I think
once in a
it's
while.
interesting to see the contrast between someone who's been practicing, like Rich here, and here is bike running as he's turning those handlebars, flicking it around. Lori's really, look how deep that bike is leaning, how it's dipping. Really nicely done. I'm okay. It just always seems a little lumpy. Go through that. See how wide she starts, how wide you're going through that. This is an excellent exercise for general working with and getting comfortable with turning the handlebars, leaning the bike. It's like turning and leaning, left, right, left, right, left, right. Also think about what it would mean on the road with obstacle avoidance. I'm working on real world moves here. Honestly, I didn't have a good clip in the real world of avoiding an obstacle and really doing a good serpentine. So I will have that, and we'll add that later. I think it's a really good practice for the viewer to see entering into the exercise. Here's what it looks like in the real world. Here's what it looks like in the practice world. Mike doing a nice job, nice and wide. Nice good lean there. Trying to get a few in. We just, we worked 4 or 5 minutes on this. 6-8 runs through. Again, a lot of times we move those cones a little bit closer just to have a little bit of an up level. But good practice. Stenith's going to see how he's steering, right? He's steering. Just incorporate a little bit of lean into the steer, and he'll be just fine.
Another thing practice gives us is options. Sometimes those options are connected to some sort of emergency. Sometimes it's just simple stuff, like making a turn, making a U-turn. If you feel uh-oh in any of those circumstances, that's a problem. You need to work on it, right?
Real world moves. That's really great in the U-turn. So now we're in the practice field, right? We are working on clutch friction point, engine RPMs, elevated 1800, 2000, slight pressure on the rear brake, head and eyes come around. We have to really trust and believe that it's going to be okay when we lean that thing down. Takes a minute, right? Takes a little while to get used to that. At least it did for me. Rich still working on the lean here. I say it every practice session. Crushes the lean angle on all of the exercises after this. It's just just what it is. It's just a thing that Rich is working through. He'll figure it out. So we're gonna get real comfortable leaning the bike. The encouragement by Robert when we go to his sessions is you want to commit to the lean. You want to start the turn early, start the turn immediately, and commit to the lean. That bike will come right around. Now we're moving from stop and then all the way through, kind of the second phase of the U-turns. A little bit, it's just a little bit more of a challenge to find that clutch friction point from a stop. Get you moving the right speed, of course, not too slow, not too fast. and bring you around. So Rich too slow here, right? That's a little bit too slow. He's doing it straight up and down. So Mike gets it a little deep here. I think it's here. Yeah. Now Mike said he's done that before, but I don't remember him ever dropping it
You okay?
at all. But
Yeah.
it's good. It's good to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's Mike's first drop.
Yeah?
You know, I'm thinking about like when I kept it in that picture. You know, I watched that video recently.
Right. Yeah, I wonder. See, I wonder. Well, you got the cover, so maybe. Yeah, I guess. But I'm glad to see that, brother. It's the first time you've ever done that here.
No, actually, I brought my bike another time.
Here? I don't remember it. Okay.
So Mike, I don't know if you could pick that up, but Mike was talking about, it's a good thing he's watching Robert's videos, and he's wondering if he should have left his feet on the pegs. He doesn't have boards, but he does have engine guards. So honestly, I don't know the answer to that question with that motorcycle. Those BMWs are higher, and you sit higher, and what's the better move there? I'm going to guess the better move is to keep your feet on the pegs, right? Because you have the engine guards to protect your feet when the bike goes down. But I'll defer to BMW experts on that one.
Just gotta keep those RPMs up.
So here's Stenith. It's like Kenneth, but with an ST, Stenith or Sten. First time through, doing just fine. He just a little bit hesitant to commit, right? Weren't we all at the very beginning? Interesting, though, it's just yet another of many examples we see here of riders who've been riding. Geez, I think this is Stenith's fourth motorcycle. I mean, I think he actually has 3 other motorcycles, and he rides them around all the time. He just doesn't practice this stuff. So see, look at that. So Rich started the turn with good speed, slowed down at the apex, then got a little more speed on the angle as he took off. So we're looking for consistent speed. It's just practice, just clutch friction point. I know that sounds like a broken record in these, but it's just so important. So Stenith pulling it around. See, the thing about Stenith is he's not afraid of going a little, having a little speed in that U-turn. Like he's not checking up and grinding the brake and stopping his momentum. See, this is an important one too. Always after a drop, usually you get a little jittery. So he worked right through it, man. That was really great. Mike did a nice 18-foot U-turn. Very well. So Rich bringing it around. He's not sweating the 18, nor should he. Doing good with that. So Stenith will turn it. If you watch how he does it, the second half is at a much greater turn rate than the first half. All he's got to do is learn to start early, right? Start that turn early, get a little bit more lean. I would say he's going a little bit too fast, but he's still getting it inside. He's still doing. Speed will carry you too far, right? Speed will carry you out or forward, if you will. But if that's not happening, then then it works. What are we after here? We're after the ability to do this stuff in the real world.
You don't need to stop if you don't want to. Yep.
So he starts way too late there, but he recovers it. Can you see how it's sort of lurching? The bike is lurching. It's because he's not used to that friction point in his clutch. He's got to really get to be living in that friction zone right at the engagement point.
That's Mike.
Mike looking good. On to the right. You saw more speed there on the right turn with Rich. He's got it going a little bit.
Still coasting.
A little bit more speed, and see that initial turn, handlebars turn. He's got a lot more lean. Figure that out, man. I don't know, but his right turns are looking good. Right U-turns.
He did a nice right, but he's coasting.
Yeah.
This is Will on Lori's Road King. That's impressive. That's not even his bike. He's never ridden a bike that big. And the fact that he can maneuver that thing on a, you know, on an 18-foot U-turn, 18 or so, really, really good.
You want to have the friction pulling.
I don't know if Rich got caught in that or what. Why he went that way, I don't know.
Keep that power
Sometimes you
there.
get caught in it a little bit. It's hard to come out of it. Mike flirting with the big orange cones. That always gives me a little pucker. Yeah, that's great. Will has skill.
I mean, Will left his motorcycle on.
All right. I don't know what Rich is doing with the traffic, crossing the traffic there, but that's
Good job.
4 demerits for him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
There you go. Steneth, lots of speed going in. Maybe a little too much speed, but I mean, you know, he makes the turn. He's relying on coasting, so we're trying to work with him on not coasting, right? We're not. That's not the practice, right? That's not the exercise. So you're staying in the power, staying at the correct friction point.
Just the
A
slightest
little
difference
rear brake
from
pressure if you need it,
habit,
just to slow you
right?
down.
I mean, I'm wearing these different pants.
You
These
do
are
need a little
Beyond
speed because you
Rider,
want to have a little bit of lean there.
motorcycle pants,
But the lean
like
does not need to
nylon
be
or something,
extreme.
right? So they're slipperier on the seat. So it's just that little bit of a difference. It's like you gotta be aware of it because you try to. when I try to
Extreme
slide that
counter
hood
sitting
over,
by
it
Will.
keeps going.
Not terrible. He held the line and then started the turn. That really looked. The shape of that turn looked really good. As always, I'm working on head and eyes, getting it around, getting those handlebars turned quickly. Yeah, nice. Look at
Rich
Rich.
has got the 18s back in the game.
Notice the speed difference in the right versus the left with Rich.
Maybe next time we'll measure.
That
off
is a
the
difference that will make the
points
difference.
on the 18 rights like we did it on Wednesday.
I think we should because it's.
Stennis getting his reps in. I dig
white
that.
line, it's not exactly
We'll work on the tweaks if he shows up again. I hope he does.
because we're starting outside this white line.
That was definitely 18. That was a good one.
That's 18 here. So halfway through. Halfway through is 18.
Exercise 7, the figure eights. I did not do a real world move here because the figure 8 is a real world
Extending the
U-turn
right?
doubled up. So we're in the real, you know, you wouldn't be doing a real world figure 8 unless you were just screwing around in a parking lot or, you know, a wide road for some reason. So the real world move is a U-turn. This is just, as you can see, Rich doing a left U-turn, but he's holding it another 25 degrees. Now he's transitioning to a right U-turn, and he's holding that. So it's just an extension of the U-turn with a little more complication, if you will, right? So this continues to teach us proper clutch friction point. Use our rear brake where we need to, not a requirement at all moments. But also, same, head and eyes, transition. The real key here is transition. So she's in the turn, holding it, transition. So she wants a nice right turn, and she wants to hold it, then transition quickly. Yep. So Laura's doing it inside of 2 parking spots. That's usually what she's trying to do, 18 feet or so. It looks to me like that's inside of 18 feet. Inside edge of the white line to the inside edge of the white line is 9.5 feet. So you can do the math, right? Just 9.5. So two of those dudes is
Mike has always been really good at head and eye.
19 feet, making inside 18 feet.
He's really emphasizing the
Again, 18 feet in a U-turn is a made-up number.
Again, I've heard from some
So we just
people
want to
that
be
say
very proficient at 24
don't suggest
foot
membership,
U-turns.
but,
So Mike is doing a nice job here. Head and eyes, really tight. We're just practicing, right? We're just practicing, getting tight, practicing. That's a really deep, really quick one. Nice job.
he's feeling it today.
Rich jumping in with some speed, which is actually good practice, right? I mean, we're practicing slowing down for turns or slowing down for maneuvers or obstacle avoidance. So as we advance, we'll work on
Exercise. That's why it's such a good exercise.
a little bit more of a pace up to the turns. We don't, Robert's 9 exercises. I've never seen him focus on, hey, you got to get more speed to come up to a stop. But it's good. It's good practice. It's good obstacle avoidance.
Trying to get some length off of his floorboards there.
I'm just trying to run this 180. I'm being lazy on the editing, so sorry about the delay here. But Steneth is going to go now, and Lori's going to coach him. So watch how the new person, good road rider, I'm sure, right? But you don't practice these things, off it goes. What happened? We're going to get to this in a minute, but he just lets the power out, right? Sufficient power to the rear wheel, and your bike won't fall down. He just pulled the power out of it.
You got to help him as we use it. Right, here we go.
Okay, so what happened?
I'm not sure. I didn't use the front brake. I'm not sure what happened.
So you got not enough throttle
Yeah.
and you pull the clutch in. So that's the coasting thing that you're doing over there in the U-turn. You can't coast in this one because you got to keep constant power.
Gotcha.
All right, so it's 2 U-turns back to back with constant power. All right, so try it again.
Yeah, that's all good. So just, as Lori said, use all the space. Like, don't try to be tight. Just use all the space you got.
So now Steneth ends up with a dead battery. I think he's dead in the water for the rest of the time. We only have one more exercise to go here, but yeah, all the stops and starts. It's batteries. I don't know. Batteries don't seem to last very long anymore. I got 2 years out of my last battery. It seems to be about the life expectancy of a battery.
So I'm going to use more space today. What I'm working on. See, that was terrible. I'm working on a little more speed. Not quite so lumbering. Hold it and turn, right? Yeah, that's better.
Technically, it looks pretty good. I want a little more speed, and I want to hold it, so I'm going right along that white line until I need to transition. A little slow there. All in the practice. Exercise 8, this is the last exercise of this day. As Lori said in the intro, we had to get moving downstate a little bit. So we thought we'd jump in with Rich and Mike going at the same time. It's all good. Why not, right? Get a few more reps in. They're not riding like, front to back or in some kind of tight formation. They're just taking their reps. Moving through the cones, we are interested in this exercise for anyone that's not watched our videos. So this is a S-shape turn exercise. We're working on transitioning our motorcycles from left to right, and we're interested in holding that turn. Watch Rich hold it to the right. Now he's going to go left. So let's keep our eyes on Rich on the black bike, holding left, going right. So the second guy here, holding right, going left. So we're holding that turn. We're holding it into an S shape, and then we're transitioning smoothly. This is all about smooth, all about transition. Actually, all of them are all about being smooth. Small inputs and effective transitions. Will just working on the adventure bike, running it through the cones. Bringing it around, good. It's good clutch control. Good transition, good weight shift. Just trying to bring that front wheel up a little bit. Again, trying to just roll the 180. Here comes Lori. Feel like Richie's coming too. So now they're a little tighter. So we're interested in leaning it through the turn, head and eyes into in the proper direction, actually the direction that we're going. Sometimes it's recommended in this drill that we actually look back at the previous gate, right? So we're really emphasizing where our head and eyes are going. I don't know what happened to Rich here. Not awesome camera work. I think I'm setting a cone up here, so I adjust back to our fixed camera down at the bottom. Helps if you get the bike inside the camera there, so we can see what's happening.
Everybody's going.
What do we got here? Just the three of them? Rich not going? No. So Mike, Will, and Lori. Lori bringing up the rear. Yeah, so.
A little more coordination.
Huh. Looks a little slow. But again, I say that just as an observation. This is not a speed exercise. So we're interested in transitions. We're interested in holding it. We're not going through the gates and heading to the next gate. We're heading back and then hitting the gate. We want to hit the gate facing straight through or facing toward our next gate. See how Lori's doing that? Watch when she hits that gate. She's actually already moving toward the next gate, but holding it and bringing that thing around. So really nice. Technically just beautiful, Lori's path there. Here's Fred. Here's me and Fred.
Light rear brake, nice movement. Don't have transitions. Smooth. Steady RPM. Not a race. We're just after smooth.
I think, as I always say, we're just working on being smooth. I'm being smooth, and I want a little more speed. I always feel kind of clunky in these exercise 7 and 8. So working on being a little more nimble. Just trying to flip Fred around there.
Touching Fred's boards a little bit.
Just good things to practice on in a parking lot. Got to get those big bikes moving around. There's no reason we can't be nimble with them. It's just practicing a few elements, right? A little rear brake to slow down the speed, clutch friction zone on the right spot. And always keeping that throttle a little bit powered, right? 1800, 2000 RPMs. It's beautiful for it. So I'm trying something different here. I almost run Lori over. I didn't tell her what I was doing.
Yeah, coming around. Just stay there. I was going to try to make it in between the cones there.
Just as a little bit of a level up.
Okay, I'm going to do it again here. So FYI where you are.
I'd like to get it down and do a tighter turn here. I can probably work on, next time I work on making that tighter.
That's just a lot of circles.
Easy.
Yeah. Now I'm going to do it on the short one.
So this is a better way to do it, going around this kind of the single cones, and then cutting in on the short side. So it's just a little, takes a little bit more to get that bike transitioned and turning from rights to lefts and lefts to rights. But this just holds the circle, working on our circles, working on our leaning, head and eyes, situational awareness, right? You start, for me anyway, you start spinning around in circles. You're like, oh, you know, what's happening? Keeping an eye on everything around you. Especially my camera person, I'd hate to run her over.
A lot of burning.
Mike running the Beamer. Will in hot pursuit. These guys both have the motorcycles and the skills to really move through this one quickly if they should want to. Not a requirement. So Mike looks good. He's holding that nice. You see that? How he's bringing it back, holding it nicely, making it through the gate. Hold it. So now he's a little bit farther out in front of it. I don't know if you noticed that, but not exactly what we want. We want that to be held a little bit more, so we're not going beyond the gate and having to come back to get it.
Now you got to be sure when you get there to tell them that Big Mike sent you over here now. I gotta get my brownie points.
So now Will's taking a run with Lori's 2015 Road King Police Edition named Pepper. Who knows why it's named Pepper? I suspect you gotta be like 50 years old to even remember the old TV series Police Woman. That was her nickname, Pepper. So Will really good with this. You can see how now it's an actual challenge for him with the Road King, but he's still, look at him dip that thing. That's, you know, ideally you want to have the bike in the picture of the camera, but it's you can still barely see at the top of the screen how well he's dipping that bike, how well he's turning it and transitioning it.
That's great.
That's insane. That's really, really good.
So we missed you on Wednesday. Where were you?
I was down in Key West practicing.
With your road glide.
With my road glide, practicing very tight U-turns. But it got real down there. The practice really paid off because the streets are small. And we went down so many dead-end streets, I can't even count them all. And we had to turn around, and there's no shoulders, just sidewalks and masses of people. But to be able to pull a U-turn in 1.5 lanes, it paid off down there. It really did.
Makes you feel good too, huh?
It does, yeah. No duck walking for me.
Yeah, right. The bike's big.
Yeah. But it's real close quarters down there. And around here, you know, it's all this straight stuff. But you realize how valuable this is when you get into situations in a little tiny town with cobblestone streets. And
Gives you a little hit to your confidence too, doesn't it?
yes, it does. It really did. It made it more fun, and I wasn't nervous.
Hesitant.
Yeah, when I got to the end of that street going, oh my, what am I going to do now? Yeah, but just did the U-turn.
Awesome.
It's paying off here. It's definitely
Perfect.
paying off.
My bike.
Awesome. So glad to have it. So first time out, what'd you think?
It was great. I was a little bit nervous. I dropped it a couple of times, but the fundamentals are there, and it's a great way to get your motorcycle skills down.
And you know what to practice.
I know I do.
So what do you got to work on?
Keep the throttle up, keep it loaded, keep power to the rear wheel, and just manipulate the clutch.
Awesome.
Yes,
So what was your favorite exercise?
The U-turn to the right, that seems to get that better than the one to the left.
Yeah.
And Serpentine, I need to get that down.
Yeah.
I like that, yes.
So you're going to come back and practice with
I
us?
definitely will. I need to be the boss of my motorcycle.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it, though?
It sure does. It sure does.
And fear it less, right. Right, fear your motorcycle less so you can enjoy the experience of motorcycling more.
Exactly.
And let's hope it starts, right?
I hope so, yes.
Thanks for coming out.
All right, thanks for having me.
So what'd you work on today, Mike?
I worked on everything. I had a really bad performance last week, but I feel good about everything today. And luckily we didn't do the snowman, so I couldn't do any failures. How's that for optimism?
Well, your U-turns looked awesome.
Yeah, I felt much better. I mean, skipping 3 weeks of practice, and then showing up last week, it felt a little rusty, but I'm back on track, I think.
It comes back quick, doesn't it?
It really does, and I didn't practice this week, so I can't late on that. But yeah, it feels good to actually get back to where I was a few weeks ago.
Good, awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
coming
much.
out.
Like what?
I'll ask you a question.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so Will, what are you riding?
My beautiful KLX 250.
And how long have you been riding?
Probably close to 2 years.
April?
So it's definitely good going from a small bike to something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember
He's been
what that's
riding,
called.
it's a Road King.
Okay.
Yep, and he's a badass on it. He's a boss.
The skills that I learned on this is so much lighter, makes it 10 times easier to ride that. Although 300 versus, what is that, 800 pounds?
Yeah.
It's quite the change, but the skills are still there, fundamentals.
Fundamentals don't change, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
So, good time out. Recommend everybody come out, even if you're advanced, because doesn't matter how long you ride, perishable skills. So, 10 out of 10 recommend.
Awesome. Okay, so we're finished with practice session 70, and we had a whole bunch of people turn out, so it was fun. And we got through exercise 8 because we have other commitments and we're gonna leave now, but it was a great practice session. We had one new person who actually watches the Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle YouTube channel, and when he found us here, he reached out and said, hey, can I come over and practice with you guys? So he's gonna be coming back and working on his skills, and I think he did great for our first time. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next time. Okay, they're trying to get Stefan's bike started. Trying to pop started.
That was sick. Maybe hit the starter at the same time. Yeah. All right, first gear. Go. That's second? First. I tried second, it wouldn't do it.
Okay, we're doing surgery on Stefan's bike.
Oh, just touch it on there.
Yeah. All right.
That should be good enough. See if she'll crank up. Make sure it's in neutral.
Is it neutral?
Yeah. That's close.
So they got it started. Gotta love handyman.
Well, thanks for joining us for another Sebastian practice session. We hope you were able to pick up something useful, either what to do, what not to do, or both. Join us for future practice sessions where we always have new people at every skill level joining us. There's always something new to learn, and where we get just a little bit better every time we practice. Thanks again.